Hey everyone, I'm a bit late, but oh well. This is just me trying to draw all my excitement of DC fandom into one drawing. And well, wow, it's like what a weekend as well. They managed it very nicely. I'm not gonna lie. It's like everything that, although I did miss a few panels, I'm kind of annoyed about that. But everything that they showed and they did, it was executed very well for an online, I'm guessing, pre-recorded event. And the fact that we were, it's like inside Jim Lee's drawing, 3D space of Jim Lee's design. It's just amazing. Like how we went from one panel to another, and it's like very well done. And also, I'm finally glad they're fully embracing the whole multiverse aspect. It's one thing that I've wanted them to do for a while, and yes, I know, it's like the CW was the first time they fully, especially when Ezra showed up, like fully established the multiverse aspect, and I love that.
I'm Barry Allen.
That was a very shocking surprise, and I'm so glad they did that. But anyways, I'm just so excited right now, and it's like we got our first glimpse at the Flash suit, the concept art, and I'm loving the suit design. I'm loving how simplistic it is. Even when you compare it to the comic, it's even more simpler than that. Like the way the lines are in the comic, it's more, how to say it, all the lines are, you know it's all lightning based, so there's like, even though I love the new 52 suit, it's sort of slightly, ever so slightly complicated, the Flash design. Like, I love drawing it and I love looking at it, and I think it looks beautiful. It's like such a nice upgrade to the classic Flash. But right now with the movie suit, this concept art, they simplified that even more. So I just wish they had the gold boots, but when you look at movie concept, it's more fluid in a way. It sort of reminds me of his wires, the on his Justice League suit. So I'm loving that as connection as well. Although the wires are most probably inspired by the comic suit, so it's going back to the comic. But it's like, I'm loving this new suit. It's giving me very Burton vibe. The way how simple it is. Even on the concept art, it seems rubbery, and so it's Michael Keaton's costume was super rubbery and stuff like that, so it's giving me those vibes. But I can't wait to see Ezra wear it and actually see it in motion as well, because I'm loving the overall design right now. Plus, I think Andy Muschietti, I think that's how you pronounce his name, right? I think that's how they said it. He was saying it's neon lights, so you definitely know it's gonna end up glowing. It's great that they finally went for the. But I'm like, I kind of enjoyed the blue lightning for Barry. It was interesting and different as well. The yellow's fully welcomed. He finally has his yellow lightning, so that's cool. Yeah, I was just quickly experimenting with, how would it look like, the blue instead of the yellow. This drawing was supposed to be just Black Adam and Flash, but I just had space, so I just kept adding more. But yeah, even the Black Adam concept, I'm like, oh my god, that's really so amazing. One of the things I was worried about was that how similar his costume would be to, since it's very similar, his and Billy's costume. So I was kind of like, oh no, I hope they don't do it. I hope they don't go in that angle where they just give him Shazam's suit but black. But from concept art, it looks like, exactly, it'll actually be slightly different. As in, there'll be more texture to it. There'll be separate pieces. It's sort of like armor, but this, it's all warrior-like, and I'm like, I'm loving that angle, and I hope that's the angle they're going with. And this wasn't just for the concept. Like, one of the things I loved about the Black Adam panel was how, I think that was one of my favorite panels out of all of them. Just the overall way everything was done, and the way Rock managed it as well. It's like, that's what also, we're finally getting something from Black Adam. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was at a point where I was thinking, oh, this movie's never gonna happen. It's been what, 12 years or something since The Rock was announced as Black Adam. Something from him. Even the whole Mortal Kombat-esque story, the video they gave us, I'm like, okay, at least it's something. And then you find out Jim Lee and Boss Logic worked on it, and like, okay, we got something. Clearly working on it. It's like, super excited for that movie, just to see The Rock go all out. Hopefully, even the tease of, I'm thinking that was, I'm 100% sure that was the Eclipso Stone. So that's an interesting angle. Like, okay, I know the Stargirl show is the next season, and it's interesting. And I know, like, Calypso is tied with JSA quite a lot, but it's just like, wow, it just gets your mind thinking, is that the angle they're gonna go with? Like, that's how end up fighting the JSA or something. So yeah, I was trying to, like simplify the suit design and stuff as much as I possibly could, and add in the whole Eclipso Stone, give that light on his face. Like, I'm just super excited. Like, oh my god, we finally got something I can't wait to see properly in live action, as well as see him go against the Shazam family, as well as Superman. Like, the way he kept teasing, I loved how The Rock kept teasing that. I'm like, okay, that's one thing that's amazing about The Rock, and how he teases, like, his promoting and his promotional aspect of anything. It's just like he builds the hype very easily. As I was saying, I missed a few panels before. Then when I came back, it was the milestone panel, like as it was just ending. So one thing I'm glad they're doing Static Shock movie. Like finally, we hearing stuff about that. It's getting a comic book series, and Milestone overall is just reintroducing again. Because remember, I thought they would be introducing it since we saw Static, Icon, and Rocket appear in Young Justice at all, and even in the comic series. I think before the New 52, Icon appeared in the Justice League books. So I thought, oh, okay, like they're pushing for that angle. But then after the New 52 happened, it's like it was just Static and then no one else, I think, if I remember. So it's awesome that, they're finally putting more of a focus on Static. Everyone's been waiting for Static and other milestone characters. So that's awesome. Filmora even made a joke about the fact that they don't have to sell the toys anymore. I think that's why the show was cancelled. Except toys weren't selling or something, but the heads that were in charge didn't even allow the toys to be produced because they believed a toy based on a black character won't sell. Like, they didn't even give them the chance. Caught that little joke, and then I did a bit of research and found that out. It's just such a stupid reason, and they didn't even give them the chance to. But anyway, Milestone's back. Static's getting a huge push, so that's awesome. And the potential to see him in a movie, like, give him an even more of an exposure. It's like everyone's been waiting, like, come on, it's finally happening. I had faith in that reason. It's awesome to see that, like, the fact that we got a glimpse of that 25% or whatever he shot. I'm like, there's only just 25%. Imagine what the rest is. And apparently there's more rumors about all these other villains popping up, like Firefly and others. We still haven't seen those guys, but the glimpses of Riddler that we've seen, I'm like, I love it already. I'm like, he's already very creepy. That's the angle they're going with. I'm all on board. Plus, even Selina's balaclava mask, so hints of the ears. It's great to see that they're incorporating that into live action. Even Nolan did it with Anne Hathaway's goggles. The way whenever she would take them off, like you could see the cat ears in the silhouette. Zoe Kravitz silhouette as well with the cat moving ears on the balaclava. I'm just like, from this, the suit will only grow as the trilogy keeps on going. And apparently, there's rumors that she might get her own series, and we might see her grow there. So I'm like, that's awesome. If it's true that is, alongside the GCPD Year 1 series, we might also get this. So on HBO Max, let Matt Reeves grow the Batman universe the way he wants in his corner of the DC multiverse. But Colin Farrell, though, he was unrecognizable. It's like, nobody knew that was him until someone pointed it out, or I think the official makeup artist pointed it out. I'm like, that's Colin Farrell. He's completely unrecognizable. I'm just, wow. It's just, I think for makeup and hairstyle, whatever, they probably won that in the Oscars. Or it's a high contender for whenever it's. But the trailer, though, like, I've watched it a few times already, and from the first time you saw it, you can tell that it's got this very gritty noir sort of feeling to it. Like, I know Matt Reeves has continuously talked about how he wants to go for this very detective story. You're discovering like how Batman's investigating the murder, and I just love that they're going for it. They're literally showing it from the first scene. A murder's happened. It's something we haven't seen. We haven't seen the detective side as strongly being featured in a movie before. That's the angle Matt Reeves wants to go with. Like, he's been saying this from like day one. We don't really, like, the movies haven't explored the detective side as much, and he wants to really lean on that angle a bit more. I can listen to Matt Reeves talk about the Batman or even DC Comics in general for hours. Like, the way he was talking and the energy he was giving out, his excitement and his passion for the project and Batman, the character in general as well. It's just like, I don't need a trailer. You keep talking, like, just tell me what version of you're doing, and that's enough for me. The way he kept on going on and on. I'm like, there have been other panels where I was like, okay, I just want to see but, or I want to see something. But with him, it was just like, you keep talking. There was just so much passion for the project, for him to show his version of the mythology. It's like, from the minute Matt Reeves was announced, like, we all thought he'd be working with Ben Affleck, but it didn't go the way it did. And the fact that he chose Robert Pattinson, I'm like, I trust you. The way you want to do it, I trust you. And from the looks of the trailer, that all worked out. I'm just very fascinated by his vision for the Batman universe. Even the bits and pieces we saw of Gotham, like, the way he's trying to do Gotham since he's shooting in the UK. It's just like, obviously it's going to be enhanced by CGI and he's going to incorporate more to the architecture, but everything just feels so uniquely Batman. The way he's shooting, if you understand what I mean, it's enhancing the grittiness and the noir feeling of what he's trying to say. Even the little bits and pieces we saw of Batman interacting with the GCPD, like, we haven't seen that beforehand or as much in the previous Batman movies. This time around, he's literally in front of the GCPD, or he's walking alongside Gordon. It's not like the other police officers have been told to go off, or they need the room so he can talk to Batman by himself or anything. But yeah, can't wait to see more of the Batman and possibly see the film whenever we can. I liked how they ended with the question marks, for 2021. Like replacing the two with the question marks. It's so perfect since, we don't really know when it's going to release with all this pandemic stuff. And, incorporating the whole Riddler. It's just amazing. I can't wait. Thank you, Jim Lee and Walter Hamada and whoever else for like fully embracing the multiverse and saying there can be different iterations at the same time. You can have all these stories. You don't have to do a singular story. Like the audience is smart enough to know not everything is connected. They will understand that. Like that's the reason the whole multiverse panel 101, right before the Flash panel, where they spent time telling us all this. I'm like I can't wait. It's like thank you. Plus they established the whole Ezra Miller's Barry Allen gang, then his name the Flash from Grant Gustin's Barry Allen. Obviously we've all seen it, but everyone was, I think, was questioning, will that be canon? Will they include it in the movie? Jim Lee and Walter Hamada talking about it, that just canonizes it to the multiverse, to the Flash movie. Plus it's a nice little callback to the comics, how Barry Allen got his name from Jay Garrick. Flash got his name from another Flash, like his name. So that's a nice little callback, and the spin they put on it. They're embracing the multiverse aspect. Yes, this is Flash, but with this a different interpretation. They could do more stories about other characters, other versions of the same characters. Like you could have like one separate Wonder Woman story or a separate Aquaman story that's not connected or played by Well, actually, no. I want all the Aquamans to be played by Jason Momoa. It's Jason Momoa. Come on. I'm not gonna lie. Even like, although Suicide Squad panel was the one I hated the most, like they were all just way too loud, and just kind of for myself, it just felt awkward. I'm looking forward to the movie. It seems like an interesting movie. Like there's such a big cast. 80% of these guys' characters are dying. The ones I'm drawing, those are the ones I'm mostly interested in. David the Small Chin. I'm like, he was Polka Dot Man. This guy's finally, hopefully he survives and he's getting such a big role. And like he's already been in so many DC movies and DC shows, even like Marvel movies. But like to see him hopefully have such a big role in this movie, everyone should see you, everyone should know who you are. I'm sure they know who him as, like, oh, this guy was in that movie or that movie, but just to see him in such a big role, it'd be awesome, like within the movie. Nobody knows about Polka Dot Man other than majority of fans. He's getting such a huge introduction, and I think all the polka dots will be like little bombs and stuff, so that's interesting. I've tweeted this out, but I would not mind seeing Polka Dot Man go up against Ben Affleck's Batman, even Tinker going up against Barry, like Ezra Miller's Flash, or Bloodsport. Like we finally know who Idris Elba is playing, like Bloodsport. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have to Google him, and then when I saw the image, I was like, oh my god, it's that character, like the John Byrne character from way back in the day. I'm like, I understand why a lot of us don't realize, because even from the set photos that we saw, leaked ones, like he's unrecognizable costume wise. There's nothing that looks like, oh, that's Bloodsport from the comics. But still, I'm like, that is a callback, and I'm loving even the fact that they said he shot Superman, and that's the reason why he's in Task Force X right now. From that, one of my mutuals who needs Doom guy on Twitter, he theorized what if the bullet Freddie Freeman has in the Shazam movie is the bullet from Bloodsport, as in like obviously that's not the case, but it'd be a nice way to sort of enrich the world since we already have that bullet, and it'd be a nice little from the Suicide Squad movie. I would even like to see Idris Elba like go up against Henry Cavill's Superman, just like why not? He's already playing one of the villains of Superman, so it's like that's one thing I like about the recent Suicide Squad movies cast, like the characters, is in the sense they're taken from all angles of the DC universe, and so building out the rogues gallery. I'm just way too excited. It's Idris Elba, first of all. I'm glad they didn't, recast Deadshot, giving Idris Elba another character to play. I can't believe they got Peter Capaldi. When he was first announced, I was like, okay, my excitement level for this movie is increasing. It's like Idris Elba, Peter Capaldi, and even like John Cena. I'm not like, although I think like some of the costumes in that movie are very bad. Like I wouldn't say they're cosplay level, because even like some cosplay costumes are just amazing. Like the effort that fans will put into those costumes, it's like art in itself. But his costume feels kind of cheap. But I'm guessing he's gonna die off anyway. So plus, it's not like we'll be able to see him other than a floating helmet. Harley's costume though, bringing in that Injustice costume, and I'm like, that's perfect. I'm loving what I'm seeing from that movie, even though it feels very cartoonish. I'm just hoping they're not going to Guardian of the Galaxy. I know originally Warner Brothers saw that as their Guardians, and that was the worst angle they could go with. Kind of ruined the first movie, and I'm hoping, since they brought in the Guardian of the Galaxy director, that's the angle they're not going with. Like, if they, I'm just gonna wait and see. So far, I'm just excited about the cast. I'm not really excited about the overall movie. Ones that I've drawn right now, they're the ones I'm most excited about. But hey, it could turn out to be a great movie. But let's see. I just hope that he has the freedom to do whatever he wants and he's not beholden to executive orders or just make Guardian of the Galaxy but R-rated. Also, we're gonna see the JSA in Black Adam. Like, I'm hoping, was that official concept, like first official look at concept art of Atom Smasher, Hawkman, and Cyclone and Doctor Fate? Because I don't, for Cyclone's costume and even Atom Smashers, I don't think those are costumes from the comics. So was that our first look at the official concept art? I think plus I found out recently they're drawn by Doug Mankey. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but so you know who it is. But that's awesome. The Stargo show is building up its own JSA, the old version of the JSA and the new generation. And now, like, in the big screen, Black Adam is building his own JSA in the DCEU multiverse movies. So it's a very exciting time to be a fan in general, as well as a DC fan, and it's that. But we finally got a proper Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer, and me personally, I love the song choice. It just fit. I don't know why everyone's complaining, but hey, everyone's got their own issues. He does the smallest of things, and everyone's annoyed with him. But yeah, we got a first look, and I tried to draw Steppenwolf like properly. I tried representing the spikes, but as you will notice, is that I ended up going more furry than spiky, and I'm like, it's fine. This is my first try at properly drawing Steppenwolf, so it's fine for a first try. Maybe when I draw him again. But some of the aspects of what we saw in that trailer, though, Cyborg, the way I'm like, Ray Fisher's gonna emotionally destroy me. Like, from that one scene alone, like even Barry's running. Like, me personally, I loved it. I was like, I remember when I first watched Justice League, I was like, oh no, I hated the movie in general. And then when I saw the running, I was like, oh, I hate this run. I guess it was just because I hated the movie. And then I saw this one other thing, and it wasn't until later on when I saw a GIF that I was like, that running actually works. And especially when you think it from the mind view that if I was to pause, action would be something you'd see in comics. That pose, even from the bits we saw in the trailer right now. It's like if I was to pause, it's like it could be a cover or something or a splash page. I'm like, okay, so that's the angle they were going with. Like, for me, it personally works. And even before we saw this trailer, I was like, I like the. Anyway, I'm super excited. Can't wait. We got our first look at Euxis, Baby Darkseid. He decided to open up the trailer with a look at Darkseid. I was like, okay, so clearly making a statement that this is a completely different movie. Awesome. More black suit Superman as well. They're not hiding away from that. Like, we've seen the movie, we know Superman's back. I'm just hoping, like, the international release is sorted out soon enough so I can watch it. Because I've been wanting to, ever since the HBO Max presentation in general overall. And then they said the DC shows they're working on, like the Green Lantern stuff and all this. I'm like, and recently with the whole Raised by Wolves trailer, I'm like, just take my money, guys. I'll cancel all the other stuff I'm subscribed to. I'll just give you guys the money with the first Warner Brothers catalog in general, the HBO stuff, and then the upcoming stuff. We got our first look at Cheetah as well. Personally, I think she looks amazing. She's all furry, there's more fur on her than when you compare it to cats. I haven't seen that movie, but from the trailers, I hated it, and I think that's one of the things that Warner Brothers was most probably worried about. Like, that's why we haven't seen Cheetah. Like, they were probably working on Cheetah's look continuously. But we finally saw her. She looks amazing, and it looks to be a good movie. Just the whole pandemic and all. Whenever it's possible, hopefully we can all see the movie and enjoy it. But right now, we should have seen this movie by now already if it wasn't for the pandemic. Wonder Woman looks nice. I'm glad they opened up the DC fandom with Wonder Woman, and I think if they had a Superman movie, that would probably have been in the middle, like, as in Wonder Woman opens up the show, Superman's movies in the middle to carry on, and then they'll probably end it with the Batman, and it would have been nice to have all the Trinity represented, but it's a fine. Like, Warner Bros. Is scared because fandom doesn't know what version of Superman they want. Everyone continuously arguing or in conflict about which version, but hey, let's just not focus on stuff like that right now. Yeah, I tried to keep the video short, but I was like, the drawing in general took so long, and now this video might be longer than I was hoping. Like, I wanted to have it recorded quite a while ago. It's just I've been very busy, and the drawing's been taking so long. I'm still it's not really finished. I'm still adding more. Feel like I can add more to it. Like, there's so much spaces and there's so much stuff that happened in fandom. I'm like, there should be a point where I'm like, you know what? Let's just stop, because the file crashed one time already when I was trying to extend the canvas. Let's just stop with how much we have. Don't add more to it. After I've done the games portion of the drawing, I'm like, okay, that's it. I love the Kingdom Come inspired armor for Diana. I'm glad we finally see that. I'm glad they gave it an own spin on it as well. Especially the headgear. Everything about it just works. It's like, it's elegant, but it's making a statement. Like the Kingdom Come design is clearly making a statement with the whole Golden Eagle armor. But this one, it feels more elegant in a way, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I just wish we could see the movie. Like, drawing was kind of getting confusing as in the sense where to look. There was no central figure of sorts. So it's just trying to add a bit of light white and light yellow color to differentiate the foreground and the background. Hopefully it works. It's hard to tell actually. We finally got to see what Rocksteady as well as WB Montreal games, even though the leaks happened, like, tidbits, but still just to see the gameplay and stuff. Like, me personally, I'm more excited about the Gotham Knights game over the Suicide Squad game. Like, the stuff we've seen from Suicide Squad, it feels like the 4 characters so far that we can play with, they just seem the Justice League, but they can kill. Like, Deadshot's got a jetpack and he's flying around and he's shooting people. I'm like, okay, that he's clearly the Superman character in a way, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Then you got King Shark, who's like the brawler, and he's got his own weapon, so he's like this Wonder Woman. Harley Quinn's clearly moving around like that sword. And then you got Boomerang, who's moving around like teleporting or himself with the boomerangs or something. Like, he's clearly the Flash, and I'm like, it's just the Justice League, but they can kill, and now they're going up against the Justice League. Like, I know the Suicide Squad isn't the Justice League, but it's like, I can understand why they want to go with the Suicide Squad. First of all, popularity wise, they're becoming quite popular and everything. You got the characters like Harley Quinn. But then after everything we did in, Arkham, do this whole moral ground thing where like Batman can't kill, and so you can't really kill any of the villains, even though you clearly were. If you think about it, like, we were tossing villains off the building, or you're hitting them with the Batmobile, the Bat tank. Really, it's like, I get the overall appeal for Suicide Squad. I just need to see more gameplay. Like, it's not a gameplay that's clear, it's a cinematic that we saw, but so far I'm not as excited. I was expecting more after so long. I'll just wait to make a final judgment. I'm most probably going to end up buying the game anyway. It's Rocksteady. They haven't let us down so far. Like, they did 3 games that were just amazing. Then, like, the Arkham series game. So, come on. So, the WB game though, the Gotham Knights, I'm like, oh, that looks very amazing. The fact that we get to finally play as the Bat family. Like, roam around, do missions with each character. And I think it's co-op. I'm hoping it's offline co-op as well. Finally, guys, took you guys long enough. And I know that was one of my biggest issues with the Arkham series, especially Night. I'm like, we have such a big city and you can't run around with any of them. Like, I want to swing as Nightwing, I want to play as Batgirl, but I can't because, they're not letting us, other than the, AR challenges. But now we're finally getting an entire game based on them, and I'm 100% sure, like, Batman isn't dead. We all probably guessed either he's a talent and we're just gonna end up rescuing him, and then he's probably gonna be part of the family, so you can play as him as well. Like, I don't see them not doing that. It's the biggest cash cow, even though the Bat family has the most interest right now, since we didn't get them in the previous games. Still, I don't think Warner Brothers isn't gonna let you play as Batman in a Bat family game. I'm loving the designs for the characters. I just can't wait. Super excited. Anyway, I know that I've missed a few stuff, like I told you before. I've missed a few panels. I'm hoping they'll upload those online so I can watch all of them. Like, the ones that I missed. But I got to see the stuff I wanted to see, even though I kind of missed a milestone. I think that was a surprise, because I don't remember it being on the schedule. But anyway, I'm super excited for the future of DC in general. I can't wait for Fandome Part 2 in September. That's coming up pretty end of September, right? So I'm sorry for taking your time, but I'm just so excited about everything. I just wanted to share that excitement and ended up drawing this. I was working so much on this drawing that it was getting to a point where I was thinking maybe I'd be a 2-part drawing. The movies and stuff is one drawing that I'm going to upload now, and then the game stuff would be another drawing, so I can include all the characters. But then I just thought, like, let's not do that. Let me try and get all in one drawing, even though I'm kind of getting tired. But I had the extra few days to work on it, so yeah, I could have added more characters. I could have changed up some of the character poses, like, Tinker's pose. It's so bland and plain. I could have done more with his pose, like maybe involve his hand, but it's like, oh well, next time. I hope DC Fandome becomes a yearly, or I don't know, biannually thing, every 2 years or something. It was great that they did it this year. Even if it was a one-time thing, I'm hoping it's not. The only thing that I didn't like was I was hoping for some Green Lantern news, but anyway, it's not like it was a guaranteed thing that we might get any news about the HBO Max series or maybe a potential movie announcement, but oh well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Fandom, all the reveals, and what were you most excited about. What are you most excited about in general? Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching.